Okay, Chris is back on the podcast. Echoes of Antietam. We had him on the podcast last year, and he's got another AI film play at the Thriller Suspense Festival. Really cool film. I think I told you last time we were talking is that we get a lot of AI submissions, but they're not very good. I'm just being honest, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and you could tell, but you could tell that yours is AI, but it's still effective. If that makes any sense.
yeah. I think because I don't know, I still come from a traditional storytelling background. I
Yeah,
was a
that's what it comes
filmmaker
down to. Yeah,
25 years ago. I did my own indie films. I had my own stunt team, and we did live
yeah.
action stuff and all guerrilla style. Jumped out of the car, got to the set, and did our scenes and left. It was one of those things. So, um, yeah, I mean, and I notice as the AI is getting better and better. I mean, I'm getting better even with the visualization, the fidelity and stuff. Yeah, I look at Echoes now and I'm like, okay, that's I made that film last October. I finished it in last October, and I'm like,
Yeah.
now it's even better. And like I look at that, I'm like, oh, do I go back and remaster it now because it looks still like a game to me. But yeah, I think if storytelling is where it's all about, it doesn't have to be the best looking AI. If your story's there, I think that's what helps.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about your film because I like it a lot. That's why it was accepted, and we're talking right
Sure.
now. So, but I'll ask. I'll see where you get it. So we had a big there's something called Film Festival Alliance, right? Where all the kind of film festivals get together and they kind of like share stories and kind of figure out. And it's funny because I brought up the AI controversy, and then of course it dominated the podcast. It dominated the talk for like an hour and a half, right? Where do you think film festivals stand? Because it went in three categories. It was all pretty even in the three categories. Where do you think the film festivals stand? What's your experience with film festivals submitting your AI film to them?
So I've past couple of years now, I've been submitting to some traditional festivals still, not AI festivals, some AI but yeah, they're still a little slow adopting the tech.
Yeah.
And the whole, I mean, I got into the Tampa Bay Underground Film Festival, which is a really nice festival, very well put together. I think I was like the only AI film there, maybe one other or so that maybe did
Yeah.
animation. And like I would say half the audience was receptive to it. The other half was like, I don't even want to talk to you. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're still a little slow adopting it, and you probably get rejected, maybe because the film is AI still.
Yeah.
But I think it's slowly coming into fruition. I think they're going to have to eventually start having in their own separate category, maybe.
Yeah.
2026 is moving so fast with the tech right now that I would think Fesca gonna have to jump on board eventually. Um, yeah, it's just a little bit of slow process, just like any new technology, right? I mean, when DV was coming in, it was, you know, a little standoffish at that time too. People were like, "Oh, you made a film on DV. That's not real filmmaking." Kind of the same too with this tech. It's just gonna take some time. Uh,
I'm old enough to remember. I think we're around. I'm looking at your date. We're not going to age ourselves, but we're around the same age, basically. And I
yeah,
remember that what you just said. I'm old enough to remember that oh, you made a digital film, and it was like the old roll of the eyes, right?
yep,
And it was like you didn't shoot it on film, right?
right,
Like, and it
yeah.
was yeah. And then about 2000 for me, about 2005, 2006. So it's pretty not that long ago. That's when people like started accepting it, and then it was getting into all then half more than half the films you saw at a festival were digital films, right? So now all
Yeah,
of
I
them.
think I think when the DSLR cameras were going
Yeah,
video,
yeah,
and then you were able to put film lenses on there, and to give the look even a better look, as opposed to the like say the run and gun camcorder
yeah. Oh
that
yeah,
was DV. You could tell the difference in the look of the quality of the film. So yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody today who still shoots on film. I mean, if you do, more hats off to you. I mean, I think it's cool. Um,
there's some, but it's like less than 1%, right?
yeah, yeah. So, and my latest I'm finishing up right now. I'm trying to give it a film look and put grain on it and make it look and
Yeah.
polish out that whole AI look.
Yeah.
So
So I
it's kind
remember
of like a
doing. I remember I did some films in 2005 and on digital, and then the game changer was 35 millimeter adapter. So I remember doing a Bravo film, and then we used the 30 because we had the budget. We used a 35 millimeter adapter, and it was third. It would look like film, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
not for like the cinematic nerds, like the cinematography nerds. Like my DP kind of could tell, but he
yeah.
was trained on to be a cinematographer. But I thought it looked amazing, right? And then that
Yeah,
was like, I'm like,
it got rid of the soap opera look, right? That was so
yeah,
notorious for the other ones.
that's the
Yeah.
great, yeah, that's the great way to put it, the soap opera look,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I used to do like certain things like on black and white, and then kind of change the tone and do a lot of art direction, kind of like to grain out the digital, I guess, right? But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah,
I think too, one a big game changer was when the camcorders were uh, then able to put out 24 frames a second. Because it used
yeah.
to be 30 or 60. So it had that polished look to it. But when 24 speed came in, it's like it got even closer, you know? So same old kind of thing, you know, when the new tech comes in, it just kind of,
Yeah.
brings it down to our level, the average schmo, to
But this
make
is
content,
different
you
though.
know?
I've heard the examples, but I think this is different though, right? Like the AI is different from digital, where like it was like a transition from like talkies to, you know what I mean, from silent film to talkies and then digital.
Sure.
But this seems to be like a whole, because you're a one man show, right? You can do this all by yourself.
Right, right. On a 5-year-old laptop, and I'm making stuff that I could never make before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically to get back to what I was saying, so it's like a lot of film festivals are very into technology, right? That's sort of their thing. Like the directors are like that's their MO of life, right? Is to embrace
Right.
technology. So they embrace AI. And then you get some of the other ones that you can see the fear on their faces, right? They're scared,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
And they don't like it. So, but
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I when I get asked the question at festivals, why are you using it? And people who do frown upon it, I just feel like I grew up with the blockbuster films of the 80s and 90s, you know, and
yeah,
when I was a kid, I've had grand ideas to be a filmmaker and to do big spectacle kind of a film. And now you do have that kind of a capability to do that. When you were in an indie and you were broke, and you had to kind of dumb down your quality, your story and stuff because you didn't have the financing or the money, the infrastructure to put something like that together. But now I can to some degree. I mean, your mind kind of expands. So if you're someone that's got grand ideas, and me, I have an art background, I got a bachelor's of fine arts, so I've
yeah.
worked with my hands, and if you can use that background and apply it, yeah, it's just another tool.
All right. So let's talk about your 6 minute film.
Sure.
Uh, Civil War horror film. Obviously, the production value is there because it's AI. Great. It's a great story. And is there a bigger story here? Is this like almost like a proof of concept horror film for you?
It's funny. It was all spawned out. There was an old video game back in the day called Myth, Myth,
Yeah.
not Miss, Myth, and it was a strategy game in the late '90s. And I used to play this game with my little nephews when I come home from work. And it was a game that had dwarves and archers and like your William Wallace Scottish type guys, swordsmen, and you were fight the dead. You would fight the soulless and walking zombies. And in the game, there's these zombies were filled with pus and blood, and they waddled around the battlefield, and you had to pop them at a far distance because if you popped them too close to you, they would destroy you. So my ideas come to me at the weirdest times, most of the time before going to bed, or I'm in the shower or something, or driving in my car. And I thought of something, and I like history stuff. I like Civil War, I like World War One, World War Two. And I just thought, I don't know, maybe it'd be cool. Confederates going against a retired Union soldier with his two sons in the cabin in the middle of the
Yeah.
Antietam battlefield, which is a big battle that happened during the Civil War, the Battle of Antietam. And yeah, just they gotta hunker down and defend their home.
So I just happened to watch Ken Burns' Civil War doc, like maybe
Okay.
like a month ago. I'd never seen it before, and
Yeah, it's awesome.
like I'm a big baseball fan, so I saw his baseball movie and like his other movies, but I never saw his recent movie too. I watched his recent movie, and I'm like, oh, I should go watch the Civil War, and like,
Yeah.
because I'm a Canadian, so we didn't really study it,
Oh,
obviously in
yeah.
Canada, right? And so it was really, I found it really interesting. I found it kind of fascinating. There's like
Yeah.
it is America in so many ways, right? Like in
Yeah.
how timely it is. That's sort of the point I'm trying to get, is that it's a very timely era to what's going on today.
huge turning point in the country, right? And then it's
Yeah.
just even today, people are like, "Are we going towards another civil war because we're so
We're not,
divided?"
but yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not, right? But
Yeah.
it's just those words get thrown out there. But yeah, he's an awesome filmmaker. I love history stuff like that. So if you can combine it and get some creativity, those I've never seen Confederate zombies before, so I thought that would be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And like that's what I mean. And so it sort of resonated to like the history horror. I thought that, and really like I could just see this film. I can see like a feature
Yeah.
film of this.
And that's the idea I have with this whole AI stuff is, if you have a script, and I have scripts that I've written years ago, 18, 20, 25 years ago, feature length, if now you can make like a short concept or a trailer and now you have the script as well, I think that's a sellable package there.
Yeah. So are you're writing not with AI though, right?
Yeah, I write myself. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Because
Yep.
that's a whole other can of worms as well.
So
People are
yeah,
writing.
and I always tell people you need to keep the human element in this because that's where the heart is, the soul is. Just use this as a tool, as a little helper. You do not let it take over the whole thing. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing with AI today. Maybe they don't have a filmmaking background and they're just jumping in to make content and they're using ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini to not only write the whole story, but also
Yeah.
make the film, that kind of thing. And I still edit, I still storyboard and music mixing and sound mixing. It's still all me.
Okay, so because you do, like you said, you have a background. So like, so okay, so let's talk about the sound design because that's what stands out for me in terms
Yeah.
of AI. Like it's like the people are forgetting people are forgetting the sound design. So I'm laughing because it's like half the film, but
Yeah.
basically if you break it down. But yeah, your sound design is fantastic. So you do that yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Because listen, I grew up on Looney Tunes cartoons. So see how much sound was in Looney Tunes cartoons. And then when I
Yeah,
was doing CG animation back in the day when late 90s, early 2000s, or even making films, you got to do your Foley. You got to do your own sound mixing. So I
yeah,
remember having stacks of CDs of all different sound effects. Remember back in the day, but now you can grab them online. So you either grab them from a website, yeah, just you subscribe to. I grab the sound effects, or 11 Labs, which is an AI site. You tell it what sound you want, and it'll give you the sound. If I need an explosion or a gunshot, I need those musket sounds. I really wanted that musket sound from the gun to sound kind of cloudy,
yeah.
kind of soft in a way, but you know, a real good vibrant sound to it. I want those speakers to blow, and it was able to do that for me. Or if I had to find it and tweak it in Premiere, I would do that. So it's huge, and music too. That's real music. It's not AI music.
Basically it's like you called it an AI short film, but it's not fully like you said. Like you're using all the human elements. You just the
Yeah,
visuals are just AI, I guess, right?
correct. Yep,
Yeah,
everything else is all me. Yep.
that's great. But you do videos yourself, right? Because that's what you kind of do for a living as well, right?
Yeah, for my Volkswagen channel. Yeah, I've been making videos for 20 years on YouTube. I got over 1,000 of them on there. So
Yeah.
yep.
And you know how to create content, and you know like how to use sound, and like because your videos, watching some of your videos, it's like it's a nice, it's like you're basically editing sound in your videos,
Yes. Yes.
obviously, right?
Well, right.
And
And
yeah,
what did Spielberg say? Like 50% of the movie is music and
yeah,
sound, right? Like it's just got
sound,
to
yeah.
be there. Yeah.
So you're doing that, so you already kind of know that kind of, and you know storytelling. You know, like even if they're just like promotional videos, you know how to tell a story that way too, right?
There's arcs. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I think we talked about this in the last podcast, but refresh me. What kind of you stayed away? You didn't make films for a long time, and then you got back to it because you kind of saw the technology. But at the same time, that's still scary. Like it's like even though you can I can make an AI film, but still you still got to like learn it and like get back on
Yep.
the. It's hard to like it's like anything. It's like working out, right? If you don't work out for 18 years and then you decided to go to the gym, that's it's a daunting task, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so making a film, the techniques that you learn, say for me in the early 2000s,
yeah,
writing and storyboarding and creating back then, it's all changed today because we're in the streaming world, right? Like
yeah,
Netflix has its own formula now on how to keep your attention. So if you're watching a film but you're on your phone at the same time, they're trying to cater to that. So they're writing scripts catered around the scatterbrain, which I drives me nuts. right?
Yeah,
I feel like telling people, like, if you're a 5 to 8 second attention span person, I don't want you watching my film, but that's where we are today. And I saw an
yeah.
interesting podcast with, for Affleck and Matt Damon, where they were on Rogan, and they were pretty much like saying, yeah, this is the way it is. We gotta constantly put the right points in our script now to keep the attention of the
Yeah.
scatterbrain, someone who's
For the
doing
the
laundry.
Netflix films, because it's like because most people are on their phones watching the show, right? So
Yeah, but I
yeah,
can't go to a theater without seeing people on their phones as well. So it's like, it's so irritating to see that kind of stuff. So I come from a traditional sense still, and I might still be applying those slow burn storytelling techniques that I learned back then to even my AI films today. So some
yeah,
people might say, yeah, I can see you're traditional, like you're from back in the day compared to what content creators make today based around the way the audience is. So, but yeah, I mean, it's what's built in me, and I'm gonna just keep stabbing at it and see how it goes. It is scary where the technology is moving so damn fast,
yeah.
and I try to keep up on a daily, weekly basis, and it's like, oh my God, a new one just dropped today. My gosh. But um, you take it as it goes, and just try to keep up as best you can. I try not to lose my mind.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
I think that was it. Charlize Theron said something funny that oh my god, I totally got a brain freeze. Who's the little guy who made the controversy about the ballet and like ballet is going to be dead in like 10 years? Who's that
Oh man.
actor? Oh my god,
Um,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
People are
think
like
so.
told me now, right?
I
But
think.
he's like doing well, anyways. But she said that like we're going to be replaced. Like actors are maybe like she's just saying tongue in cheek, but actors are going to be replaced in 10 years, right? But we're still going to have the ballet. People are still going to have the theater. People are still going to want to have that human kind of element, right?
I hope so.
But you see there, I'm glad you're saying that, right? Because you're like, but we might just basically, it's like CGI. It's like we might just be making films like you're making them now, right? You're kind of innovating, but we're still going to have that human experience with like I'm going to a theater show tonight. Like we're still going to have that kind of interaction. And AI can't replace that, right?
Right, right. Totally. I totally agree with you. We still need to be humans. And that's why my clients for my business love me because I still talk to them on the phone and still speak to them face to face. I
Yeah,
want that. I can't stand communicating behind screens, and it's all, same with the AI. Like, I don't want it to take over. You just use it as a tool, but let's still stay human in the whole picture of it all.
yeah, exactly. All right, so tell me about like kind of making this film, like you said, you made them before, but like what's the it doesn't like people think that you're just like telling them what to do and you're done in an afternoon, right? It doesn't
No,
work like
yeah,
that,
definitely
right?
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely not. So this film actually, I think, took me a good 2 months to put together and to finally from concept and to finish, which is pretty short, in the whole grand scheme of things. Like if you were to shoot that for real, it'd take a long time, right? Um, but in some AI films, it means, oh, I did it in 48 hours. I made a 5 minute film. I'm like, oh, come on. But to me, yeah, it's mapping out the script, writing the whole script out, storyboard it, get your shot list done. Now you
yeah,
create your characters. It's kind of like going like into old 3D animation. You make a character sheet where you have the front, the side, the back. The guy's arms are out, so you get all the details of all the characters, and then you have now that as a reference. I love the whole design process. When you're making the characters prior to putting them into motion, it's so much fun to see the zombies and all the different characters in the land that you make. So you're basically building the set, right? You're building the house, the cabin I
yeah,
made, the farmland. You have all those references. You have them in a folder on your computer, that kind of thing. And then when you start going into your shot list, you start bringing those elements together through the AI and then throwing it into motion. Now, it's an iterative process. It's not going to be a home run every time you prompt it to tell it to do something. So there's constant, reprompting and trying to get the shot. And then being a director, I'm directing the AI actor to be have emotions and to walk a certain way
yeah,
and show those eyes to me. I got to see that. So and that's getting better and better, showing emotions now, which is nutty.
yeah.
So
They're
yeah, I
not
mean, it's
stiff.
just
It's sort of like like any performance. It's like before they were the AI actors were stiff, right?
yes.
They were like you know what I mean? It's like and they weren't human. They weren't like real.
Right, or the
right?
whole AI slop was coming in where it looked gibbery, it looked like
Yeah,
Jello, it
yeah,
looked
yeah,
ugly. But that's all getting better now, and it's everything's getting a little easier. But I still think a traditional approach to it, like from our backgrounds,
yeah,
is a really great quality we have today over someone who doesn't have that, who just wants to jump in and start making videos, thinking that they can make a movie.
yeah.
Um, I'm glad we grew up in the time we did, and we saw some of the greats and
Yeah,
can
we're
apply
we're an
those.
interesting generation. It's Timothy Chalamet, it's the guy who made the actor who made the
Oh, there
controversy
you
that
go. Yeah, yeah.
opera and ballet are dead in like 10 years, which is like, and then Charlize Theron said, "Well, no, that's going to be popular, right? You're dead in 10 years, right?" So basically, that's what it was,
Right.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
like, anyway. Sorry, I just the brain popped back for me. So, but it's because that's where we are, right? It's like people like it's not going to change things, right? It's just that you're like you said, you got to like it's a new technology that you're using the best. I think I've seen it. I've seen it like you're using it the best it did. But that said, because you're in a certain generation, you've made films in the past, and you're making films all the time with your YouTube channel, right? With your business,
Yep.
right? So you're in a unique position because you already know how to tell stories, right? So
And I hope that's what brings you in the forefront. Because right now there's a huge tidal wave of content getting put out there. I mean, and even
sure,
YouTube's panicking with it all right now too, because there's a
they
ton
are.
of garbage, ton of
Oh yeah,
garbage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and what they're doing is, and they're of course, as much as they're trying to knock down AI, they're using AI bots to scan their whole platform to
yeah,
get rid of the garbage. And some good channels are getting demonetized and canceled
yeah,
and totally turned off because there's people setting up AI agents today, which is a weird concept, right? And
yeah.
they're making 150 channels a day throwing up slop. So it's like we're really at a time right now where I hope someone like people like us who storytell, we come
Yeah,
into the stick out more than the slop. I mean, you're in a jumbled mess right now, but
yeah.
hopefully,
It's the
we
same
get
thing
to
with music, though, right? Because anybody can go on put their music on
yeah,
Spotify, but 98% of it is junk, right? Like, or not very good.
yeah.
But but it's democracy at its best, right? Because you're like
That's what it's out.
people are
Yeah.
always going to abuse things, right? It's like even like in Canada we have socialized medicine, but they're
Yep.
going to get people are going to abuse that system. No matter like it's just things get abused,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Yeah. Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
but what's people's main? Why would they like? They're not monetized. They can't get monetized on YouTube. So, what's their motivation for doing all these channels in one day?
Trying to game the system. They do different things to try to game it. I mean, there's guys right now like as much as YouTube is trying to squash down even some of the IPs. Like the big scare recently was the guy who made the video Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt on a rooftop. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
that. And that got, I mean, Hollywood really scared. And now there's been lawsuits, cease and desist letters, all that kind of stuff. And then what are people making? Transformers versus the Predator, Predator versus Terminator,
yeah,
SpongeBob, versus Spider-Man, all these different IPs that people are putting together slop and they're just trying to game the system. And they might make some money in the beginning before YouTube squashes them,
yeah.
but everyone's just
YouTube's
trying to
pretty
get that.
good with their. I'm sure you're monetized like we are.
Yeah.
YouTube's pretty good with their monetization. Like they sense copyright like right away.
Yes, right
Yeah,
away. Yeah. So hopefully they'll nail those. I mean, so they're trying to just make a quick buck, and they realize it's a sacrifice kind of a channel they're making, but they don't care. With AI,
yeah,
you could just make as many as you want.
yeah.
You
Well,
know.
the point is, I guess if it goes viral, it gets a million views. They're not going to make money doing it, but they get attention. They can
Yes.
take that ball and kind of monetize it in third degree channel ways, I guess, right?
Sure.
So yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So okay, so what do you? So how many have you made so far?
Gosh, I've made several films, few trailers that are in there. I think as far as shorts in general, maybe five. And I still got a list that I want to do. I'm wrapping up. I'm premiering one this Sunday. I'm dropping the trailer today on that one. It's my most ambitious one. And yeah,
How
just
long
keep
is that
going.
one?
20 minutes.
Okay,
I thought it was going to be a 5, 6 minute film, but
yeah,
us being creative, I keep thinking of other ideas while I'm creating the film and rewriting the script. And I'm like, if I
yeah,
add this would really put some good punch to the film, and thinking it's only going to be a few minutes longer, but it winds up being 10
I
minutes
think
longer.
that's good for you because it's like because you gotta it's if you can you got it's focusing that's your next like I guess next test I guess is that
Yeah,
you're focusing our attention on the 6 minute film, but can you do longer, right? Can you grab our attention using this style with the longer films, right? Because it's like I'm sure you want to do a feature. I'm assuming you do, but
sure, down the line, yeah, absolutely. It'd be really cool to, yep.
you want to make sure that our attention is grabbed by this technology, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I also think, because since most, like Mike Rowe always says, I like Mike Rowe, and he's like, he had a comment years ago that he said, wherever the herd goes, go the opposite direction. So the herd is
I'm
going
the same
towards,
way. Yeah.
I love that. I don't know, but he said, yeah, go in the opposite direction. But so
Yeah.
what we see today with AI is people making a lot of short AI junk,
Yeah.
couple minutes, 30-second TikTok crap, a minute crap, 2 minute stuff. I'm like, all right, you know what? Everyone's going in that direction. It's swamped. How about I just go longer? There's less people making longer AI shorts. So
Yeah.
let me go 20, 15, 20 minutes. And maybe that'll, make you stand out a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how it is for festivals. I think festivals would like shorter, if I'm not mistaken, or
I it depends, right? But it's like if like I said, you like longer. Like I think that people don't want to watch just from like programming standpoint. Like I've
yeah,
programmed like so many festivals, theater, like online in the theater, and I think people want both. They don't want to see because I did a lot of under 5 minute festivals, and it's like a lot for people, right? Because they're seeing so many films in a row. But I think that they want like how I used to do it. It was like I used to do like a 5 minute, 7 minute, and then like a 30 minute, and then end with like a 3 minute, which is like a
oh
like
wow,
let's say the first act, and then like end with like a comedy, right? Like a short comedy, and then like kind
yeah,
of like go like that. But people want that beef, like they want that large film in the context of the smaller films, right? Because
yeah, yeah,
we that's our mentality, or like our mentality is still feature films, right? We still or a television show, we still have that long mentality as an audience, right? So
yeah.
yeah. So
I'm
basically,
with you.
long answer, yeah, people film festivals want longer films if it's
Oh,
good,
cool. Okay,
right?
good to
Yeah,
know. Okay,
if it's good
excellent.
because it's like you want to make sure that you program a long film, but then the argument is that okay, you got 25-minute film, you can program 5 films or 6 films in that 25 minutes. So the rationale is that that 25-minute film has to be 5 times better than the other films
Right,
because
right.
you're using that space, right? You're using that right because there's the space is in an infinity like online. The space is limited
Correct.
at the theater,
Correct.
right? So yeah,
Yeah.
but that said, people still want that longer film. Like I've looked at audiences and I see that, right? So yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm glad to hear that.
Think about it because we've all grown up on television, right? Or movies. Even
Yeah.
kids watching like 5, 6 year old kids are going to the movies and watching Mario, which is 2 hours, right? They have the attention
Yeah.
span.
True.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so we're
Check
growing
this
up
out.
on that. We're still growing up on that condition. We're still conditioned
Yeah.
to the longer stories, right?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
I thought they definitely wanted shorter in today's society. I thought,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like I say, I think that we still want to have that longer film. I don't know. You've gone to film festivals. That's how I program, and I see that that's how I'm assuming others are catching on the same kind of vibe that I'm catching on. So
Yeah, I've seen both, like you said, yeah, I've seen
yeah,
they mix it, like you
yeah,
said, if they throw a 15-minute one in there, a 20-minute one, then jump
yeah,
back to a 3-minute one
yeah,
or yep, yep.
yeah. Because I've done those under fives, and they're like but that's a little bit of a grind because you're doing so many films, right?
So
Even
many films, right?
even when I do a dance festival, I try to do a long dance film in between the short ones, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Cool.
All
Okay.
right, so you're doing another one. So basically, are you waiting for the technology to do like a longer, like tell technology to be really profound to do like a long like feature film?
No, I think to make a feature, you're gonna need I think you're gonna need a little team.
Yeah, that
To
makes
do
sense.
it yourself,
Yeah,
I mean, this last one I just, I mean, 4 months by myself. And
yeah,
of course, in between working my business and stuff, time is limited, but, it does take some time still to do it.
Yeah.
So
So, by that rationale, it'll take you like a little over a year, I guess, if you do it by yourself to do a feature.
I would think,
Yeah.
figure 15, 20 minutes took me 3, 4 months to do. So yeah, factor that it's like a quarter, right?
Yeah.
So, but then, as the technology changes, things do get a little better,
Yeah.
a little quicker, so
Because you're great. Like the story's great. Like, so what I'm trying to say is that you're ready for the longer films because
I'd love it.
that's when you're
Yeah,
learning. Like, like doing a feature is tough because you're navigating so many like layers and like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
right.
you got to have a good ending because if it doesn't, the ending doesn't profound. Like it's not, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a whole different animal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
cool.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for your patience. We had some scheduling issues, so I appreciate you catching up. And
Yeah, no, my bad. Yeah.
no, my bad too. We both are bad. More my bad than your bad, basically. But I want to hopefully we'll keep in touch, and I want to see what else you do. I want to see. I'll check out your trailer today, and let's talk again when you make your next film.
Sounds good, my man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.